Okay, so here we are on the first hand that I want to show. It's hand number 26. You can see there's 488 hands recorded. And you can see hand 26, well, if you count the blind levels anyways, it started at 25.50 and got into this hand. The interesting thing about this hand is I called the raise because I have been thinking lately that I need to call more raises with speculative hands. 9-10 suited is a very good hand to play. Now, let me tell you the sort of the pros of this. Well, one of the pros I think of calling with hands like 9-10 suited is that I'm usually going to be a better flop player than most of the players I'm at the table with. So, frankly, in low stakes buy-ins, I mean, I've been doing this for 6, 7 years, 8 years, playing regularly. Most of the people at the table are not going to have seen as many hands as me. They're not going to make as good as decisions on the flop. Typically, if I'm calling in position and I have position on the person, I'm usually going to be able to cream them, basically, skill-wise and everything. And so I think, by not calling speculative hands, I'm kind of cheating myself sometimes that I'm folding way too much. Now, you can see I have somewhere around 40 big blinds, or close to 40 big blinds. I think 39 big blinds. And sort of in my vision, I've done some videos on this as well, but my vision of where you should be at 40 big blinds, I don't think you should be calling all the time with speculative hands. I think over 50 is okay, but I think 40 is, and it all goes down to, if I lose 10 or 15, where am I at? Well, if you lose 10 or 15, you're in kind of in the super tight zone at 25 big blinds. But if you have 50 big blinds, you lose 10 or 15, you're still at 35. You can still take some chances to get back to 50. So having said that, I think just for a whole bunch of reasons I've been calling raises. Now, the cons on calling with speculative hands is you're really going to steal a lot of chips away, because not only are you going to call the raise, sometimes you're going to call flop bets, sometimes you're going to bust from the tournament because you're going to flop big draws, and like there's a lot of cons. And the other biggest con, and the biggest reason I never did it in the past, was because these people are usually going to give you their chips anyways. So why do it with a marginal hand? Why try to beat them with a hand that's clearly behind theirs, when usually, let's say I had aces and they had something like nines, they might probably never fold the nines anyways. So why wait till I have 9-10 suited and they have nines when I can just wait until I have aces and get chips? And I can usually do that, but lately I just find it's been harder and harder to do it. So having said that, you can see the player that opens here doesn't have a lot of chips, and for that reason I absolutely hate this call. But I made it, and typically when you make this call, you're going to automatically price in the big blind. And so when you do all that math, you're probably getting okay odds. But calling with a speculative hand versus someone with 20 big blinds is never going to be something that makes sense. And it's just not something that I think should ever be done. But I do it. So, having said that, I do it. I really don't like the call. And you can see the small blind calls. The big blind actually folds. And you see the flop comes. I think if you're calling with 9-10 spades without flopping a made hand, this is about as good a hand as you can get. Now, unless the 4 was the 7 of spades, or the jack, well, no, 7 of spades would be better because I still have top pair. That's about as much as you can ask for. Now, if the 7 of spades comes, my hand is pretty much unbeatable. I'm not even behind a set, really, I think, or I'm slightly behind a set, but I still have so many outs, it's not even funny. So really, I'm not pulling against anyone. Now, if this guy, and I'm going to give some really basic information, because I know there's still a lot of starting people out there, and there's still a lot of people that look for, newbie advice. So, if you can't stand hearing newbie advice, this might not be the video for you. But I think it's good for everybody, even if you already know the stuff, to hear it again. But having said that, a 9-10 suited on this board is not even behind an overpair. The only thing I'm behind is to a set, and I'm in the 20% to beat a set. Now, a set of nines is unlikely because I have a 9, so it's really a set of 8 or set of 4s. It doesn't really make a huge difference. A set of 9 and a set of 8s or set of 4s is really the same thing in general. I'm not really gonna turn and river. I need to turn and river a 9 and a 10 to beat a set of 8s or a set of 4s, unless I make a flush. So really, I'm in the 20s to beat a set here.